Okay, so initially I wasn't going to be doing a spoiler video for Captain America Brave New World, but there's been some new information about that post-credit scene that I kind of just have to talk about because it's fascinating. Obviously, spoilers for Captain America Brave New World. I don't know why you think there wouldn't be. So, in the post-credit scene, we see Captain America going to visit Stearns, who's locked up in the raft. Stearns then warns Cap about threats and heroes from other worlds that might try and invade this one. Now, this credit scene feels like a complete afterthought. Sure, this is the first time that Captain America is learning about the existence of the multiverse. Unlike Doctor Strange or Spider-Man, he's had no run-ins with villains or variants from other universes. But we, as the audience, we've seen that already. So that's what makes this credit scene just so disappointing. It's not exactly teasing anything or getting us hyped about anything in particular. Or so we thought. 2 weeks following the film's release, director Julius Onah revealed that in the post-credit scene, Stearns was actually referring to the Illuminati.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Now, I've seen multiple breakdowns and things you missed videos after the film's release, and nobody brought up the fucking Illuminati because that wasn't even a possibility in our minds. We all thought he was talking about Doctor Doom or Incursions or some shit, not the Illuminati. For those of you guys who forgot or don't know, in the MCU, the Illuminati is a group of heroes from another universe that form together to monitor threats involving the multiverse. But in the comics, they were a small secret society of heroes that banded together to represent different heroic factions. They believe that with having different representatives from different areas of the Marvel Universe, they could better protect the Earth from various threats. But they operated on the belief that the needs of the many outweighed the needs of the few, so that would oftentimes get them in trouble with not just other threats, but with each other. Obviously, this group was forced to make some really difficult decisions, like whether or not to send the Hulk into space. Spoiler alert, they did, and he was not happy about that shit. Now, there's a few issues with them being in this more grounded Captain America film. For starters, as far as we know, they don't exist in the mainline MCU. Second, the Illuminati that we were introduced to is from a different universe from the main timeline, the sacred timeline or whatever. And thirdly, they're all fucking dead. Okay, maybe not all. Mordo seems to have gotten out okay. He's trapped in a hole though. Can someone bring him some food? He's probably really hungry down there. So yeah, I don't know what's going on with this. What do you mean they were set to appear in this film? What do you mean that's who Stearns was talking about? Was this film at all tied to the multiverse at one point? Was Captain America gonna be battling variants from other universes in a quote-unquote grounded political thriller that you were advertising this as? I'm so confused. The phrasing of this makes it sound like they were going to appear in the film itself, not just the post-credits. But after going through numerous plot leaks that came out from before the film's release, I can say that I have found zero evidence of the Illuminati being in any prior version of the film, unless this was something that was scrapped very early on in development. I think this is some kind of BS. But at the same time, I don't think that having the Illuminati in the film is a bad idea on paper. Having a secret society of heroes quietly working behind the scenes and controlling various events is actually kind of intriguing, especially for what's supposed to be a grounded political thriller. It does add layers to the film thematically of like, oh, it adds to the question of who's really in charge here, that whole sort of thing. But hearing that they were even going to be in this film at all got my brain thinking, what would the Illuminati have looked like in this film? Who would be in it? And I think I figured out exactly who would be in the MCU's Illuminati. So now, before I begin, I need to make some things very, very clear. Number one, their appearance has to make sense in this film. Their inclusion should feel natural to the story told in Brave New World. In other words, no multiverse. So these are all characters that exist in the main MCU Earth 1999-99 timeline. I'm not calling it 616, Kevin. You know that's not true. Number two, this is not my dream lineup. My dream lineup would be the original lineup from the comics, consisting of Professor X, Iron Man, Namor, Reed Richards, Doctor Strange, and Black Bolt. But seeing as how half of them don't exist in the main MCU, this cannot happen in this lineup. I'm also going to say this right now. The lineup I've created for this fucking sucks. Number three, again, no multiverse. I get that Stearns is warning Cap about heroes from other universes invading this one. But again, why would another universe's Illuminati show up to stop an incursion in what they advertise as a grounded political thriller? Like, I get there's a Red Hulk and a guy with a brain coming out of his skull, but they still advertised and marketed this as a grounded political thriller. So why would a multiversal team show up to do other weird sci-fi shit in this? Even though I'm looking at who the Illuminati could be in the 1999, there's too many nines in this. Even though I'm looking at who the Illuminati could be in the 1999 universe, it's possible that Stearns knows about the Illuminati in this universe, and it's like, hey, they got that shit in other universes too. I don't know. The Stearns just sucks as a villain. I'm getting off topic. I don't know. It would just really feel weird having multiverse cameos in this film. Like I keep saying, it just kind of, it's like putting Dr. Evil in Oppenheimer. Like, what is he doing here? So yeah, now that I got the ground rules out of the way, here is the worst Illuminati lineup you've ever heard. We're kicking things off with the Black Panther, Shuri. This one's kind of a no-brainer pick. Being the leader of Wakanda, a place that still recently opened their borders to the rest of the world, it makes complete sense that Shuri would want to be a part of a team like this. Wakanda also got really messed up recently in the MCU timeline, and following the death of her mother, I'm sure that Shuri will work even harder to protect not only the people of Wakanda, but just everyone. She also would have a connection with Captain America because a lot of his tech and gear in this film came from Wakanda. All the vibranium and stuff. Next up is Wong. I don't really have a reason for it. I just really think he'd be there. I love Wong. He's a fun character. Doctor Strange is off doing some multiverse stuff, so Wong seems like the only other wizard candidate to be on the team. Also, after Strange's less than pleasant encounter with 838's Illuminati, I kind of doubt he'd want to create his own group like this. Also, his journey over the last few films have been moving away from the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few mindset. So him being part of a team like this would feel like character regression, if that makes sense. But Wong doesn't have that arc, and he also never met the other universe's Illuminati, so he's fair game. This could also explain why Wong has been just popping up in many other projects over the years. You know, he's keeping tabs on people. In addition to being the Sorcerer Supreme, he could also be keeping an eye on people for the Illuminati to make sure nobody's doing anything that could break the universe. Valkyrie would probably be on the team as well. She's the king of Asgard, leader of people who just recently arrived on Earth. After the back-to-back devastations of the destruction of Asgard and Thanos attacking their getaway vehicle, Valkyrie would definitely try to ensure the safety of her people, so nobody would have to face the atrocities that the Asgardians did. And given that Earth is seemingly welcoming to them, it makes sense for Valkyrie to be invited onto a team of this nature. Alright, so that might not sound too bad right now, but now's the point in the video where I start pissing people off. Those were the safe choices, the choices that people were expecting me to make, the obvious ones, the ones that would probably be on the team. The next person is Ruth Batsarov. I'm not going to talk too much about this character because she's already a really controversial addition to the film itself. But you can't tell me she wouldn't be a member if the group was in the final product. Working closely with the President of the United States, she could feed the Illuminati information about exactly what Ross is doing and how that could affect the universe as a whole. Anyway, free Palestine. Now, I wanted at least 5 members for this team, and the last one was really, really difficult. I genuinely couldn't think of another person in the MCU that would fit the bill until it hit me. Betty Ross. No. I'm not fucking with you. Betty Ross would be the final member of this team. Betty Ross, being the daughter of President Ross, would make sense from an emotional standpoint to be on the team for this film. If the Illuminati were involved with the main story, it would make sense to have some characters in the lineup that would have a very close relationship with at least one of the film's leads. Betty, being a part of the team who may be suspicious of President Ross's motivations, could add an interesting dynamic for the story and add insight into her feelings about her father, which were barely touched on in the final film. Now, why would an ordinary person be working with a team consisting of a Black Widow, a leader of a foreign nation, the Sorcerer Supreme, and the King of Asgard? The answer is I have no idea. Now, this lineup, when compared to the original from the comics, is really fucking ass. Like, we got Sabra instead of Professor X. Like, that's the biggest downgrade of the century right there. But I genuinely can't think of another lineup that would make sense for this particular movie. Like I said, for the story of Brave New World, this is the one that makes the most sense to me. And it pains me to say that. I imagine, okay, within the story, I imagine that the Illuminati would be doing their own investigations into President Ross's assassination attempt. Knowing the MCU, they would probably just be cameos for like a single scene. Maybe Cap knows about them, and maybe they could have been the ones that he goes to learn about the pills. Then Betty could research them, and she can be the one that finds out like, oh, it's laced with gamma. That's not good. Then it makes her realize that, oh, her father is being manipulated right now, and this motivates her to reach out to him after ignoring him for, so long. I don't know, man. That's my guess. That's my theory. My film theory. Thanks for watching. I can't do the Matt Pat thing. I'm sorry. But yeah, I literally don't know how they can fit into this film. Which kind of makes sense given that they were a scrapped concept. But like, I'm still in the camp that they were never in this film to begin with. I don't know what Mr. Onah is talking about there. The more I look at this article and this tweet, the more baffled I am by it. This seems like such clear course correction from Marvel. People criticize this post-credit scene for having really nothing new to add. It wasn't funny. It wasn't, it didn't add to the bigger universe or anything. So Marvel tried to retcon it to be like, oh no, there actually is something new here. But that doesn't work. When your retcon makes absolutely no sense. The leader used math to find out that the Illuminati exists in another universe. What the fuck are you even talking about? Oh, next up, the leader is going to use math to figure out that Thanos was coming back in the Incredible Hulk. That's what he did. Are you kidding me? Are you just going to use the leader to explain a bunch of different plot holes now? Because he used math and probabilities? No, don't do that. That's such a cop-out, stupid way of handling it. You're better than this. While the first 3 phases of the MCU weren't planned out entirely from the beginning, it certainly felt that way when you were watching them. Each project pretty seamlessly flowed into each other with post-credit scenes designed to get you hyped for the next film coming out. Or it was just really funny. It was one of the two. It was either designed to get you hyped and it worked, or it was funny. That was the joy of it. It felt like an overarching story. It's a feeling I've yet to have with this multiverse saga. Of course, a lot of this can be blamed on a certain someone, Majors. But even prior to him being fired, this saga has just felt really, really aimless. We don't know when characters are going to show up again. There's so many loose plot threads that you'd think they'd address by now, and you really get the sense that there is no plan here. And this article kind of proves that. I want the best for this franchise. I grew up with the MCU. I love these movies. I do kill counts for them. I wouldn't do that if I didn't like them. I love these movies. But as of right now, I can't help but feel just a little bit doomed. You get it? That's an Illuminati joke. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Long live cinema.